Destiny 2's Leviathan raid is here, and it's a beast. You're going to need at least a little help for Destiny's 2 first raid, Guardian. We're here to help. Now the Leviathan raid has been beaten by fire teams, including the legend himself clan. We know that the raid should take around 6 hours for an experienced team of Guardians. That's not too imposing if you set aside the time, and these things only get easier the more you do them. Expect hour-long runs of Leviathan over the coming weeks as players discover shortcuts to cheesing the way through it. Leviathan raid power level requirements. And getting started to attempt the Leviathan raid, you're going to need to be rocking a power level of between 260 to 280. That's a conservative estimate, and obviously the higher you are, the more confident you can be of tackling the raid successfully. If you're in need of help reaching that figure, we have some very useful tips on how to level up quickly and get more power as part of our extensive Destiny 2 guide. As with any raid in Destiny, you need to be in a fire team of 6 players. At this point it needs to be a prior formed team of friends. Destiny 2 will feature a guided games service, but that's currently only available for the Nightfall Strike. If you want to watch the whole raid in one go, this video from Rex highlights the entire activity. Or you can scroll down for a full text description and a breakdown of the 3 trials and boss fight. To get started with the Leviathan raid, open the directory and seek out the raid location on Nessus. What you should expect is a series of trials created by Calus. Once completed, complete with boss fights, you'll be able to grab the rewards for all your hard work. Got your friends and feeling confident? Let's begin. Calus will greet you and invite you to enter the pools as soon as you arrive at the rather magnificent Leviathan. There are enemies here, but if you don't engage them, they won't fight you back, so you can pass through unharmed. You'll also see objectives that proving complete every trial Calus has set before you, and the labyrinth. Loot 3 of Calus gifts in the underbelly of the Leviathan. Head up to the top of the building using the man cannons and follow the corridors until you arrive at Castellum. The Leviathan Castellum. This isn't technically a trial and is simple in theory. Collect and defend 3 standards while defeating all the enemies and any bosses. Find the hologram standards designed like a chalice blades and a beast. You'll have to fight off multiple enemies here. Kill the standard bearers and you'll be able to pick up the standard and run it back to the triangular pedestal. All 3 standards are placed in the same spot, so a good technique is to split your fire team. At least 3 should defend any standards you've already captured so the Cabal don't steal them back, while the rest should be picking up the standards and running them back to the rest of the team. Remember, if you're holding the standard you can't fight, so make sure as many ads have been cleared out as possible. Once all 3 standards have been placed in the triangle, the doors will open and you can collect your loot: purple engrams, Calus selected shader and the Emperor Calus token. Now head through the corridors to the next section. The Royal Pools trial. The Royal Pools have 4 pressure plates in the corners, with another in the center. 4 guardians should stand on the corner plates, which will grant them the psionic protection buff for 1 minute, protecting them from environmental damage. Don't stand in the pool of liquid surrounding the pressure plate as it will drain your health. By standing on all 4 pressure plates, chains will rise in front of each plate. Stand on them long enough and 9 lanterns will appear in the central chamber. These need to be destroyed in order to pass the trial. You'll need to clear out Cabal but also ceremonial bathers who rise with a chain. Once the minute of protection is up, one of the other 2 fireteam members should swap with a fireteam member on the pressure plate to activate the buff and keep the chains moving. There's also the psionic protection buff in the center of the room as well. Remember, it's important to communicate here and let the fireteam know when you're down to around 10 seconds left on your buff, so that someone else can swap positions and take your place. Once the lanterns appear in the central chamber, hit them hard to destroy them, but watch out for a lot of spawning ceremonial bathers. If the lanterns recede back into the ceiling, you'll have to start the process again. Completing this will reward you with more Emperor Calus tokens. Return to the Castellum standard bearers. You now have to repeat the first trial with the standards and Cabal enemies. This time the position of the standards have moved, but that's really the only difference. Repeat the steps above and move on to the next trial. Pleasure Gardens trials. Prepare for a different type of trial here, with a weird stealth section. Kill all of the enemies, then head towards the statue. Two of your fireteam should now pick up the two orbs and charge them using the light before heading to higher ground. As the doorway opens in the statue, the four remaining team members should charge inside and pick up the pollen. Teammates with pollen need to make the way to a flower, and once there, the teammate with an orb fires at it, which will give the member near the flower a strength buff. This can be done multiple times to stack a good amount of damage. Why do you need this power? Because there are 6 royal beasts patrolling. They look like big dogs and they will absolutely kick your ass. Normal weapons won't do an ounce of damage. You need to have the power buff stacked up as high as possible before you can cause serious pain. Once Guardians have enough power buff, they should attack the royal beasts. The important thing to remember here is that if a Guardian carrying the pollen is seen by a royal beast, a 60-second countdown begins. You all then have a minute to do as much damage as possible and get back inside the statue before the countdown ends, or you will die. You can retreat to this safe house 3 times before the whole statue safe room locks up and you have to start again. All 6 royal beasts need to be killed before you can move on. You'll pick up the irrigation key as one of your loot rewards for this trial. Castellum Standard Bearers. Again, this is the 3rd and final time you'll have to tackle the Castellum Standard Bearers trial, but as you've already done it twice, you should know exactly what to do. Right, the Gauntlet trial. The whole team should head towards the round platforms and kill the spawning enemies. As you do so, the meter under each pillar will fill up. Once these are full, 2 orbs will appear and 2 guardians should grab them. They will be transported to corridors nearby. This is actually easy to figure out. The players with the orbs need to jump through a gate with circles, one of which has a red ring around them. The runner must jump through this red ringed circle. However, the runner shouldn't jump through until he has called out to the other players where that circle is, top or middle for example, and they have shot the triangles on the corresponding pillar that does not contain the red circle. So if the runner shouts out top, the other 2 players should shoot the middle and bottom triangles. The corridors for runners get trickier with pitfalls, but it should all be manageable with good communication. At the end of each corridor, the runner can place the orb in a fountain and repeat the process. Do this 3 times and then the whole fireteam can pick up an orb and dunk it in the fountain to pass the trial. Kill Emperor Calus. You've completed the 3 trials, so now it's time to defeat the big man himself, Emperor Calus. Once inside the throne room, shoot the chalice from his hand and take down the spawning enemies. After a while, Calus will transport 3 players to a purple dimension where they will be faced with Calus' giant head with a symbol on it. Each player will see a different symbol. Meanwhile, in the throne room, as well as fighting off adds, the players will see 4 scions with different symbols above their heads: beast, chalice, blades and sun. The objective here is for the 3 in the other dimension to call out the symbols they see, and the 3 in the throne room to kill the scion with the symbol the WASNT called out. So if the team calls out sun, blades, chalice, you should be killing the scion with the beast symbol. Killing these scions in order will shorten the barrier protecting Calus' head in the other dimension. Guardians in the other dimension will also be fighting scions, and it's important to take down those on the ground first to risk being blasted off the map. Once the barrier is lowered, Calus will fire a massive amount of projectiles. Survive it and the 3 guardians will be able to run into orbs and be transported back to the throne room. Now it's just a case of jumping on the glowing platforms to get the force of will buff and hitting Calus with everything you've got. It's not easy, but what did you expect? Try not to get the whole team wiped. Leviathan Raid Secret Chests. The raid isn't just about the loot you get as a reward for defeating Calus and his minions. It turns out there are 9 secret chests hidden throughout the raid, all of which will give you some pretty sweet fear. You can follow our guide to all secret Leviathan chest locations or just jump straight in with this video to see them all. Sometimes we include links to online retail stores. If you click on one and make a purchase, we may receive a small commission. For more information, go here.